Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. Let go of negative thinking and stop living for the weekend. With your host, Fran Excel.
So welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel Mindset Coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very grateful you've chosen to put me in your earbuds today. Please do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and do leave me a review. I love reading them, and it really helps me get found by other people who need to hear what I share. I'd also love you to email me your mindset and productivity questions or topics you'd love me to cover to hello@franexcel.com, because I know a lot of you think I'm inside your heads because you tell me all the time. But if I don't know what you need, I can't give it to you. So let me know. Okay, so why is responsibility so important? Most of us know that taking responsibility is important in life, but are you actually doing it? Taking responsibility for your part to play in what happens and in your own outcomes. So let me be clear before we get started. Responsibility is not about blame here. A lot of things can happen that are completely out of our control. But what is our responsibility and within our control is how we choose to react to those things and how we choose to look at things overall. So I'm talking about personal responsibility. Taking responsibility for the things that you say and do that create your outcomes, wanted or unwanted. Yeah. When you're willing to stare this stuff in the face and go, okay, this is what I can learn here, or this is where I've had an effect on the outcome, then a whole world will open up for you. So taking responsibility takes your power back, right? And it gets you out of victim mode, which is very important. Things have happened in many areas of my life and in my business that I held on to blame for a really long time, not accepting any responsibility for myself or any part that I played in the outcome. And what do you think it got me? Nowhere fast. For a start, anger, bitterness and a little resentment sprinkled on top for good measure. But I got to be right in my mind. Yeah. Now I know different. There are a ton of things I could have done differently that could have changed things in each of those situations. So a few examples. When I take the example of quitting on my first business, which was my own jewelry company, I loved it when it was a little side project that I wasn't planning on taking any money out of for the first couple of years and just reinvesting. But when all of a sudden, due to unforeseen circumstances, shall we say, it suddenly became my full-time gig and I couldn't bear it. I was blaming everyone else around me for the circumstances. I was using every excuse under the sun for why it couldn't work. And when it didn't, I felt relieved to be proven right. Bonkers, huh? But the reality is it actually did work. It was working. I had orders when I wasn't even trying to get them. The reality is I was scared, feeling like an imposter, feeling not good enough, terrified of judgment, and I quit. I also really hated doing commissions because I felt it took a lot of the creativity and air out of it. But that would have been a seriously easy fix, right? Just don't do commissions. Duh. Funny how we don't see what is staring us directly in the face. So I didn't take responsibility for the actions I was taking and the way that I was sabotaging myself. I didn't take responsibility for choosing how I felt. I was allowing myself to be stuck in victim mode. I'd complain to people so they would sympathize and validate my behavior. Sounds fun to be around, right? But this was a really hard lesson that I had to learn myself. Again, 6 years ago in another situation, I was very much stuck in victim mode. And when you struggle with anxiety, that victim mode is loud. I was ignoring the lessons and wasting precious time not forgiving the person involved. But when I look closer, there really were a lot of things that I could have done differently. Or when I was in an emotionally abusive relationship for over 3 years, in my early 20s. Over 3 years, I can look back now and see all the times and areas where I could have accepted some responsibility and absolutely, completely changed the situation. Time and time again, I had more control over the situation than I thought I did. And the same again when I was struggling with an eating disorder in my teens. I can clearly see with hindsight how much I had control. All the time, I could have changed things for myself. And I've repeated these patterns of not taking responsibility and making excuses in many, many areas of my life, and created the same results. So once I had the awareness, finally seeing and accepting responsibility made it easier for me to forgive other people involved and forgive myself, which is one of the big important things. One of the reasons we so often don't want to look at these things is because we know there's going to be an element where we were wrong, and none of us like to be wrong. But you need to forgive other people, forgive yourself. When you don't, it just leaves you stuck, feeling powerless and pretty bitter in a situation where you have so much more control and more power than you're giving yourself credit for. It's incredibly difficult to change anything if you're not accepting responsibility for your own life. Ask yourself, what do you have control over? Ask yourself, what is my part in this? What could I do, be doing, have done to change the situation or have a different outcome? I hear you. This can be really, really tough and confronting exercise to do, to look at the part that you played in your outcomes, but it can be incredibly valuable and empowering. Yeah. And change is good. It means no more excuses. And a life without excuses is full of action and getting stuff done. It's magic. You'll complain less, you'll take action, you'll make better choices. It creates trust, it creates integrity. But like I said, it's not about blame or beating yourself up in any way. It's about allowing yourself to work out what went wrong and either rectify it or learn from it for the next time. So what could you do differently? It's not about, it is about not allowing external circumstances to dictate. So what is going on with my brain today? It's not about, it's about not allowing external circumstances to dictate where you are and where you go. Yeah. It's about not blaming other people and asking, what's my part in this? What could I have done differently? Taking responsibility absolutely, wholeheartedly gives you your power back. It gives you your control back. Yeah. And it's so important. It also means when you're taking accountability and responsibility, it means you're going to do a better job for your clients. Yeah. You're more likely to do what you'll say you'll do when you say you'll do it. I can't tell you how rare that is. You won't be looking for reasons why it's not done. You'll just get it done. When you're trying to be consistent and all the mindset gremlins are trying to sabotage you, you'll be able to say, hang on, what is my part here? Where can I take responsibility? And just blim and show up. Yeah? You'll start doing all the things that you're putting off because you're taking ownership and responsibility. It's about knowing there is always something more you can do rather than getting caught up in the weeds, thinking and believing that you're stuck. Yeah. So if you're feeling stuck right now, have a look at that. Challenge yourself. It's essentially really high self-awareness. Yeah. And it's time to really take control of your reality now, because that's exactly what you'll be doing when you accept responsibility. And I will repeat myself. This is not about blaming yourself or talking down to yourself or beating yourself up. It's just taking ownership of your choices and your ability to make the difference. So don't deny yourself the lessons and the opportunity to improve. We're all human at the end of the day, right? We all make mistakes and the odd bad choice. I personally feel I've made more than a few, but we learn. I wouldn't be where I am now without all of that. You will move on from things much more quickly when you take the responsibility and you're part of it. So whatever is going on right now for you, what can you take responsibility for that will actually help improve it? Yeah. There's a really important subject and one that is horrible to look at, but hugely, hugely, hugely empowering. You've got so much control. Everyone will have been guilty of this. It's something that I really, really struggled with big time. And I have to call myself out on a lot. So don't beat yourself up, like I say. It's not about that. It's just starting to be aware of when we're doing these things and when we're not taking or accepting responsibility. So, if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, I work with people one-on-one and through my Proactive Pants Mastermind. So stop waiting for if and when and decide to change things now, because you can. And as always, I hope that was helpful. So any questions, just let me know. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye.